guys, it's Jennifer with Courtside Tennis After Hours, where the stores might be closed, but we are serving up tips and tricks so you are ready when you are courtside. So today I'm going to go over a question that we get asked a lot in the store is how to know if your racket needs to be strung. Is it ready to have a restring done? How long should you play with the same strings in? So we're going to address all of that today. So most people will have their rackets strung that come into our stores with a synthetic gut or like a multi-filament, which is in this right here. So when you can kind of see the strings are going like this and they're not going back into place, or you hear like this crispy noise, this crunchy noise, and there's no snap back. So if I'm able to do this and the strings aren't moving back, you can see they're just kind of going like this. That is a good indicator that the racket needs to be strung. So typically, rule of thumb on a string setup like this, as many times you play in a week, that's as many times a year you should be getting it strung. So if you are playing twice a week, come in every like 6 months and plan on getting your racket restrung. If you are playing with like a hybrid setup, another indicator, and this all depends to how much topspin you hit, how often you're playing, if you're hitting with somebody that plays with a lot of topspin, because that will kind of wear into the strings more than just this, you know, on average, but that's a good rule of thumb. As many times you play in a week, that's as many times a year. But maybe you're not quite at that, you know, monthly mark yet, but your strings start to look like this, where there's little fraying. So that is what happens when one string is kind of cutting into the other. You can see it like grooving away at that string there. The multi-filament is kind of coming apart. So if your racket looks like that, that's a good indicator too. When it starts to look like this, you're getting close to popping a string. So that'd be like really bad if you're playing a match or something, you pop a string. It's always better to have a fresh set of strings or a backup racket for that matter. But yeah, if it looks like this, definitely time to get it restrung. And the last one, which is kind of difficult, when you have polyester strings on your racket, it's a little difficult because these last forever. So there's normally not like a lot of wear and tear that you can see. Sometimes if you're a hard hitter, if you hit with a lot of topspin, you will see notching on the strings from the one, like the mains going into the cross. So you will see that. But if not, how do you know when to get these restrung? So thing about polys, people leave them in their racket forever. You're not supposed to do that. The manufacturers say after 10 hours of playtime, these strings go dead. They don't have the elasticity as much as like the synthetic guts, so they don't have as much stretch, but these go dead after about 10 hours of playtime. That's according to all the manufacturers. And the reason for that is these are designed for people that break strings. So if you're not somebody that breaks strings, at least put a reminder on your phone maybe once a month to get your racket restrung, because these strings are dead. They're not really giving you the benefit that you're supposed to get from them. So yeah, every 10 hours of playtime with your polys. So that's overall kind of a good rule of thumb for how often you should get your racket restrung. If you guys liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you get notifications. And we'll see you courtside. Thanks, guys.